growth as a leader, I think, when we talked to you last time. Do you think that's just a natural progression for him? Do you think he made a conscious effort to step up in that area?
I think Scotty Young is just mature. With age and being here in the spring, kind of going through winter conditioning, spring ball. And, he's been here, for 3 years now. So he's a guy that kind of knows the defense, that kind of knows what's going on around here. He's just gotten better each year.
Obviously, going through a suspension like he did, it had to be hard for him. But what do you think he maybe gained out of that experience?
I would say he gained, he missed football, and so Scotty Young loves football. He's the energy in the room, and he just loves the game. And so having a game where it wasn't there for him anymore, not being with his teammates, not being with his team, he wasn't able to be coached up. And so I just think for him, that was something that he kind of he gained from. So you don't want it to happen, obviously, but for a kid like that, it's a big deal for him. It means something to him.
What did he have to do last year to get his starting spot back? Because he was suspended for the first game.
He was suspended, then he tweaked his hamstring, so he kind of went through those pains. But once he kind of got healthy, I don't believe he was healthy the whole season. But once he kind of got near healthy, he came back. And once again, he's a student of the game. He's smart, he's physical, he loves the game. He's going to come in, he's going to watch film on his own. And I think over this offseason, he's become more of a leader, So he kind of had all those things as far as, the football part of it on the field, but I think he's matured as far as the way he handles himself, the way he looks at, certain things on and off the field.
How did you first notice his maturation?
I would have to say from Coach Brian Johnson. He kind of told me that he was being more vocal. And you have certain guys that can be vocal, but it can be negative. He was one that was more positive. He would call guys out when they needed to be called out, and so, over time, I just think he learned, how to be leaders. I think he sat down, with Coach and kind of had Coach kind of help him out a little bit as far as what he needed to do to be a leader. So those are the things that kind of helped us out.
Tristan Cooper was talking up Jackson Turner. What have you seen out of him so far?
Jackson Turner is, athletic. We're in day 10. Practice 10, I should say, so, he's still learning, as things kind of get going, he's going through those ups and downs. And so for freshmen, going back to what Coach said, we're just trying to get him to just be more consistent, so he'll have a good day, he'll have a bad day, have a good day, he'll have a bad day. And so we're just trying to get him, once again, just to keep that, we can't have any bad days.
Where do things stand with the defensive line? Do you have a comfort level of particular guys right now?
It's still ongoing, so we want to keep that rotation going. We want to keep that. We don't want anybody to feel like they've arrived. And so the good thing we have going is we have some depth now. So what we see is that we like where they're at every day. That we change the rotation to see what the best fit is, and they're getting better.
What can JB bring to the table as a 3 technique?
Smart, good technique, JB knows the defense well. He's a leader, and I heard him today. He made some plays today. So he's a guy that can play in or he can play 3 technique 4. So he can kind of help us out. Once again, we have more guys up front to kind of help him out. So we're trying to find that right group up front. And I wouldn't just say starters. We need a good 2 deep.
Coach, someone was talking about how the defensive line might look different depending on the opponent that
Correct.
you face.
Correct.
That Washington State would probably be different from a team that runs the ball
Right.
a lot. How do you go about sort of figuring out what those units are? Do you have just separate groups that play together, or how do you fit them all together?
So what we want to do is every day we want to. I shouldn't say every day, but what we do is during camp we put in multiple fronts. So we practice those fronts. At times it may be different guys, depending on how many guys you have to play. You want it to be where you have enough guys, or where you can have maybe a certain package with maybe certain guys in, then a certain package with other guys in, just to keep guys fresh and then keep guys playing. D-line is a position that me and Coach, he wants depth, so he wants at least 8 or 9 guys that can rotate, right, to keep those guys fresh. So, You know, it may be a 3 down front one game, it may be a 4 down front one game, but you know, he and I see what's best for that particular game.
How much progress has Trayvon Mason made here over the course of these 10 days, being someone who obviously got here pretty late?
He's transitioning well. You know, he's a player that, you know, whenever you recruited a junior college kid to come in and play, you expect him to come in, you know, and play early. And so he was a guy who we wanted to see come in and play. And once again, what we're trying to get him to is a player that can just be more consistent, you know, understanding the defense, you know, doing his job, running to the ball, you know. So we're stressing that, right? We want all 11 guys running to the ball because we want to hunt. So he's a guy, you know, he might hold his gap, and now the ball is going somewhere else. And so we're just trying to keep him understanding, hey man, you got to run to the ball here.
Tristan was talking about his relationship with you. Over the last few years, how has your relationship with the defensive leaders now evolved?
I think I've coached them all, you know, going from linebackers to corners, back to linebackers to safeties. I mean, the only thing I haven't coached is D-line. So, you know, our leaders, with that being Scotty Young, Schooler, Jace, Cooper, I've had a chance to coach them all. So, you know, I've seen their ups, I've seen their downs. You know, we had meetings before. I know their families, and so our relationship, they know I care about them as people first.
Did you recruit Tristan?
No, Coach McGee recruited Tristan. Yeah, I just came in with Tristan.
Bobby, but how has that relationship grown over the last few years? Because Tristan said, you know, he lost his starting spot and he wanted to earn your trust and gain that back. How's that been?
It's been great. Yeah, it's been great. You know, I mean, but he lost his starting spot to a guy that's in the NFL, which is Dan Cruce.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're going to lose your starting spot to somebody, then you probably want to lose it to a guy like that. But, you know, Coop doesn't say much. He just works, you know. And right now he's been working on his man-to-man, you know, in his eyes and stuff like that. And so he's been getting better with that, you know. And to me, he just comes out and he just works.
How do you show players you care about them?
To me, when you get off the field. So you show players you care about them when you get off the field. You know, I mean, because every coach, right, you're always going to ask them about academics and football, but they're people, you know. And so to me, when they walk in a room, everybody's different. So you got to understand, as soon as that guy walks in the room, you can look at his face and tell he has something on his mind. Whether it's football related, could be family related, whatever it may be, you have to do more than just talk to them about school and football, right? You got to ask them about how they're doing. You know, how's their family? How's everything going? How are they eating? So to me, it's more about our interaction once we're off the football field, because, you know, I'm nice right now, but once we get on that field, you know, we can flip that switch real quick, and now, you know, the nice Yates can become the mean Yates, you know, because once again, we're competing. And so my job is, what I tell them is, we're going to hold you accountable, right? And we're going to ask you to do what we think you can do. And we're going to push you sometimes further than you think you can push yourself. And so, to me, when we get those chances off the field to actually be around them and just have fun with each other, you know, we do that.
Is stopping the run still priority number one for the defense most weeks?
Always stopping the run is priority, you know, because it's as simple as this. I think when a quarterback can just turn around and hand the ball off, that's the easiest thing to do, you know. So when he has to put the ball in the air, obviously you have a chance now to make plays. And so we always want to stop the run first.
Anything else for Coach Yates?